Hello, Lynn. Right, I have to remember to look over here. I just grabbed a whole bunch of props so I could speak to you for 3 minutes. I guess you could describe me as a mixed media artist, as I use whatever materials I find available that are free because I never have any money. I guess a lot of people call that resourcefulness. An example of that would be after I had a house lorry that somebody set on fire and all my things, well, got burnt. But I'd just been to the Greek island of Samos to work with refugee children. And I realised because of the fire that I could basically describe a bomb site scene with all the burnt items. So I'd already asked for a shop in Tollcross in Edinburgh to use for an exhibition for the refugees. And I put all the burnt things in there. I had a lot of artwork that I'd made for the exhibition as well, which basically was to do with young people. Here they are, here, migrating. This is Pythagoras. And here they are, migrating. Pythagoras was from Samos, a Greek philosopher. Yeah, so I think I, at this point, came up with the idea for the book because one of the children who's featured in that particular illustration, I'd given a copy of Persepolis and a blank notebook, telling her that she should record what she was doing. She was a good artist as well. She was drawing all the time anyway. So I encouraged her to write this book so that she would have a record of her journey. And I always thought when I set up the exhibition, well, maybe she will make it here and I will be reunited with her and I'll be able to see her book. But as it happened, I ended up starting to write my own book. Which you've seen. I use watercolours. This is just one of the pages from the book. So it's a large watercolour painting. These are prints of the watercolour painting, which I then, what am I looking for? I then go on to put into Photoshop. Here's a, sorry, the sun's. Here's an example of what I do. So then I'm using Photoshop to create collage, put the words on and create collage using repeating pattern designs. I'm quite into Morris style repeating patterns and nature. Nature's very important to me. So it features in my work quite a lot as well as politics. Oh yeah, I'm just going to show you this because I don't think it could have been something that turned into an exhibition of saleable things, but a lot of books got burnt. I had a lot of books in my house lorry that got set on fire, and I sewed the pages together with illustrations, with different illustrations. And I had these quilts that my mum had made, and I also, well, they'd been burnt, but there were parts left. So I created sort of autobiographical stories, but sewed it all together. And I've got one here. This was probably my best one. I framed it with some old burnt wood, but put diamonds, diamantes on it. But yeah, I'll just give you a look at it. But I think these were actually quite nice items. I could have done a whole exhibition just with these, I think. Like a grown-up exhibition with items. Also, I write poetry. I might read this. I'll read this one. I don't know how good the poetry is, but I wrote this about a tree that stands in Bridge of Erne that we loved as children. But I liked spooky things, and it was a spooky old tree. Anyway, I'll read out this poem. The old sweet chestnut, gnarled, creeping, upward stands, predominating the field and terrifying. Little feet once wedged between the twisting grooves, silhouetted in the penetrating mist through a backwards glance. As the frozen, crisp stubble breaks under the tread of thin, warm plimsolls. Mist that dampens hair, cold that fogs a breath, hands that turn red, all other colour gone. That tree we imagined hung 1,000 witches. That tree was a hideaway for robbers. Why does it still stand here when it's been dead all these years? A reminder to the living, even the dead cast a shadow, even in the deep of winter. Inch-deep frost that clings to wires, scraping it off into edible confetti, poking holes in ice so thin and cold, so frozen a puddle was lifted clean off the ground. The crunch of the grass, the snow you can walk on. It's amazing what you miss when it's gone. Upon returning again, strange reminiscing, the old tree remains. Gone is the stubble and the cold, just a moat and soft unapproachable mud. Grass still grows this year, and there's damselflies in winter. Reference to the climate emergency. Yeah, I ran away and started protesting when I was about 16. 16, big difference between that and 19. Yeah, lived in a tree house and we all made art there before they came and cut us out of the trees. So yeah, I don't know how long that was, maybe 3 minutes. I'm going to check.